What's up, everybody? Welcome back with another episode of Voice of Entrepreneurs Live. So, today we have a very special guest, and this is all about how you can improvise your video marketing. And if you are still stuck with creating content, video content specifically, and how you can build your authority, how you can build your influence through video marketing, that is something we are going to talk today, right? So, without any delay, I would like to invite our special guest, Jim. What's up, Jim?
How's it going, everybody? I'm so happy to be here. Thank you
Awesome.
so much for having me. And I'm excited to talk about this topic. It's one that's very near and dear to my heart.
Thank you so much, Jim, joining us live today. And we are so happy that you are going to share lots of knowledge about. So just quickly take us through because many people don't know about you. So they wanted to know about your little bit about your journey and how you got started this online internet journey and what do you do basically. That is something. Can you just quickly walk through your uh, the things? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to, of course. So, at the beginning of the pandemic, I was working in a day job that I'm sure most of you can relate sucked. It was really just a garbage job. And I hated it. And I was very depressed and just didn't see any way for me to kind of get out of that. And I was looking for answers, and I knew that I wanted to start my business. I wanted to start publishing. Steve Larson talks about it all the time about publish, 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 and see what your business looks like in a year. So when I knew that everyone was going to be locked up in the house, I knew that they were going to be seeking out entertainment. So it's like, now's the time. Now's the time I have to do something. This is my chance to finally take this step forward and do something for me. And so I had been kicking around the idea of doing a podcast called Fail Faster and talking about the idea that failure is a good thing, that, all we see is the successes and that it's built upon a mountain of failure. We'll learn more from our failures than we ever do from our successes. So I was like, all right, now's the time. But then I got to thinking about it and I'm like, I think this is a different need that's going to be needed here. Something visual, something strange, something that is going to be a scroll stopper, and that when you're running through your timeline, you're going to be like, "What is that?" Because I'm a weird dude, so I generally gravitate towards the strange. Um, and I figured that a podcast wouldn't necessarily fulfill what I thought was needed. Thought we needed something visual. So I let that simmer for a little bit. And during that same time, there was all these entrepreneurs that are giving away things, 90% off, 95% off, free, to try and help people negatively affected by the pandemic. And I'm like, oh my God, all this generosity, all this amazing, these huge personalities, people that have made millions and millions of dollars are giving away their best stuff. And I know if you guys are like me, that if you don't pay, you don't pay attention. So I knew,
Exactly.
if you're like me, that it's just sitting in a Google Doc. It's never been logged into, or you never even made a login and it's sitting in your Gmail, which is such a shame that all this great knowledge was being wasted. And so that bothered me. It really ate at me. And I was like, you know what? Wonder if there's something I could do that would make them use it. So then that came up with the idea of, what if they earned it? So if you earn something, it means more to you and it has more value. So then maybe you'd use it. So let that sit. And that statement is what started me on this whole journey that I'm on now. Is, what if they earned it? And then thinking about what can you do to earn things online? And I thought of games, online games. There's tons of gaming community. The Twitch community is huge, and they're earning things. So I was like, what if I could combine the two? If I could do that, maybe I could be onto something really good. So let that sit. And then I'm trying to think of games we could play that they could earn these things that are already being given away. And I came up with a game show. And so then I went down the deep rabbit hole of YouTube looking up old school game shows from way back. And I came across Hollywood Squares. And Hollywood Squares is where you're playing tic tac toe in person, and these squares each have a celebrity in them. And you have two contestants, and the one each contestant is an X or an O for tic tac toe. And they pick a square that they want to have an X or O in, and there's a celebrity in there. And that celebrity, they ask them a trivia question, and they either can say the right answer or they can lie, which is fun because now the contestant has to determine what's actually true. So then they say, they ask the contestant, what do you think about their answer? And they say yes or no. And if the contestant's correct, then they get an X or an O in the square. 3 in a row gets tic tac toe. Best out of 3 games wins the game. I'm like, that's it. That's what I want to do. Now, how do I do it? So, because I didn't know how to stream at the time or to use OBS Studio or any of the things that I now currently use. So I went searching on YouTube for people playing live games together. And I came across Dungeons and Dragons. And there was a bunch of kids, in a circle around a board, and they were playing together live. And I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. And they're answering comments, and the whole thing is super engaging and fun. So I'm like, that's it. I need to combine that with Hollywood Squares to earn these things that these entrepreneurs are giving away for free. Okay. So now I had to look into every person's content that made that show for Dungeons and Dragons, and I found the one that actually made the show. So now I knew what I didn't know because I didn't know the terminology that I needed to search to be able to make the same thing they made. So now I knew the terminology. So now I did a deep dive. And so what I'm doing is I'm learning for 5 minutes and I'm implementing for 5 minutes. Learn, implement, do as fast as possible. And I put it together with duct tape and dreams and, and tried to hold it together, and it was a mess. And I got my friends and family together, and I said, in 3 days, we're going live on this new wacky show that I've created. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, don't worry about it. You're going to show up. So they all came on, and the whole thing fell apart. It all went crazy, and it did not work as I wanted it to. So, the windows are getting too big. One of the contestants was a host, and someone else was just stretched out, looking crazy. And I had X's and O's that I placed over people, and those were like not turning on. The sound effects weren't working. It was a mess.
Yep.
But so I get done with this thing, and I'm just sitting back in my chair, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, what have I done? What have I done? Like, all these people are going to think I'm ridiculous, and they're never going to show up for any of my stuff again. That's that negative thinking. But what happened instead is I was used to getting about 3 messages a week on Facebook Messenger. This night, I had over 30 of people saying, that was so much fun. I have no idea what that was, but it was incredibly fun. The most fun I've had since the pandemic started. Oh my God, you have to keep doing this. So I'm like, wow, I didn't see that coming. Let's do it again. So now this time I go, I'm going to shoot for a name. I'm going to get a big name in the ClickFunnels space and see, because what do I have to lose? Nothing. And so I reached out to Marley Jacks, and I was like, Marley, I got this crazy game, and it's nuts and it's weird, but it's for entrepreneurs and marketers. You're one of those. So would you like to come on my show? And she's like, well, send me an example. So I sent her the first episode that was crazy. And she was like, oh my God, this is so bizarre. I'm in. So I got super excited. And she goes, but
Awesome.
okay, if I bring a friend, yeah, you're Marley Jacks. You do whatever you want. And so she brought another big name in the space. So now started a masterclass in leverage. So now I went up to everybody else because I need to have 11 people on the screen plus me every show. It's a lot. So now I said, I've got these two huge names. Do you want to be on? And they're like, I'm going to be on with Marley Jacks. Why haven't I heard of this show? That's crazy. Oh my God. And so I filled the show in the next 2 hours. Crazy. So we do the show, whole thing blows up again. And everyone's faces are stretched, and people turning off cameras, turning on cameras, going to the bathroom, all sorts of weird stuff. And so again, we end the show, and I'm like, man, I don't know. That was a lot. That was a lot. And I can't get it right. Like I kept fixing things, but new things were popping up. It was causing new issues. And, but again, I got a flood of messages of people like, that was amazing. So much fun. Marley herself sent me a video and she was like, that was so much fun. Please, please, please invite me back. What is happening? I made this thing for more or less entertainment and as an experiment. And now it's like people are enjoying themselves. They're really liking it. And so I kept going in this process of break it and fix it, break it and fix it, break it and fix it, until finally it's just the problems were very minimal. If they ever popped up, I could fix them very quickly. And I kept getting bigger and bigger names. So now I went for the third episode. I said, listen, Marley and this other big personality were on. Do you want to come on? Like, oh my God, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. So now I'm getting people like Omar Ladder, who interviews billionaires,
Yep.
Akbar Sheik, Blake Newbar, Alan Dean,
Awesome.
Funnel Doc. Um, I mean, the names just kept going.
So much. Yeah.
It was astounding. And it's when I learned the power of having your own show and the power of allowing yourself to play. Is I
Mm.
gave myself permission to play. And we don't really do
Exactly.
that as entrepreneurs. We say, no, the recipe goes A, B, C, D, and that's it. And
Mm.
making this show, I pushed all that aside and I said, I wonder if this would work. And I played until I got it right. And it eventually formed its own life. Like it really wasn't about me at all. It was about this community that had formed.
Coming.
And
Exactly.
I didn't see that coming. I didn't think that was going to be part of it. And it was just built in to the nature of the show. And people were having so much fun. And I was having fun
Exactly.
because I got to join them in that process. And the coolest thing about it is I now have winners from those shows that have gone on to start their own businesses. And some of them have actually crossed over to Comma Club.
Wow.
It's
That's awesome.
incredible that because they went on some crazy show that I made up, um, it changed their life in some way. And that is everything to me.
Yeah.
So that brings us here. So I had to stop doing the show at episode 33. So 33 shows we
Awesome.
got in with 11 people on each show plus me. It's a lot. And
It's a lot. Yeah.
that's a lot. So we're bringing it back. It literally melted my computer because my computer was not built to stream. So I had to stop everything, get a new computer, fix up some of my stuff, and we're coming back. So I'm really excited about it. But that's where it all started for me was with that sentence of what if they earned it? And it's made all the difference for me. All this behind me, this right here, that
Yep.
was a gift from the experts on the show They came on.
uh,
We still, yes,
RJ
he
hold
does.
on.
RJ. Yes, you do still hold that record. I think last time I checked, it was about 9,000 views
Awesome.
for the episode that my man RJ was on with Doug Boughton. And it's opened up all these doors for me. And I know it has for you too, RJ. And I'm so proud of you, man. Thank
Yeah,
you.
RJ is doing great job. Like he's like getting big guys in the internet,
RJ
in
is
the market space.
absolutely the example to follow about how
Yeah.
this works. It just works. Period.
I got lots of inspiration from me. Like I when I got started, like he's continuously every week he's doing inviting big people, and so inspired by his work. Really good job, RJ. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Absolutely. RJ, you inspire many, man.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, so it's opened up all these doors now for me. So what it did is it formed a relationship naturally. Like it was just
naturally.
built into the show. We experience something together. We experience this thing together. And big people like Chip, get out of here, RJ. Um, so we share this experience. So now we have something that's in common that we can talk about. That's not just, do you want to buy my thing? Please buy
Yes,
my thing. Hey, my name is blah blah. I'm from here. Buy my thing. Like it's not transactional. It's relational.
transaction,
It's
relationship. Yeah.
relational. So now I started a relationship with Akbar, and
Yes.
he and I got into a conversation, and then it stopped, and I started doing a little bit of Dream 100 stuff at that time, to where I was making sizzle reels for people that I wanted to eventually work with. So I would
Mm,
take any content that I could find online from them, and I would make them a speaker sizzle reel, to try and get them more
mm,
speaking gigs for free, just to give it to them and let them know I appreciate them. And Akbar was one of them. It's about 2 months went by, and he responded back, and he's like, "Dude, did you make this?" I forgot I sent it to him. To be honest with you, and I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Can I use this?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. You can do whatever you want with it. I just wanted to let you know I appreciate you. I love your message and your impact, and I just want to do something nice for you to let you know that." He's like, "Oh my god, this is so cool." So then he throws this video at me, and he goes, "What can you do with this?" And it's a video of him in an apple orchard, essentially speaking a video sales letter script. He's with his kids and everything. He's with his family. He's enjoying himself, and he just took like, it was like 30 minutes, and he made this video. So he's like, "What can you do with that?" So I sent him back uh, a VSL, an edited VSL using his speaking, and it took us a couple tweaks, but eventually he liked it and he used it, and he just crossed over to Comic Club with that VSL. And so now I help out in his group. I do trainings in his group about VSLs, and that opened up a relationship that has given me a ton of work, just a literal ton of VSL work from his group, because that's what
awesome.
he teaches how to make his VSL funnels. So a VSL video goes right into a VSL funnel. So, and I made his, so everyone found out about that, and I got a bunch of work out of it. And then Doug, I was in OFA with
No
Doug Bout
problem.
um,
Yes.
when he first started. So I got to see his whole amazing story. Like that
John.
guy is incredible. And we formed a relationship out of that. Then he came on my show, and that started up that relationship again, us talking. And then we became friends. And then he was like, "Would you like to join this program, Full Time Freedom?" I was like, "Yes, I believe in you, and let's do it." And then I got into the program, and I noticed that there was a certain stage where there were people having problems with filming. They had to film themselves for the course. And I was like, "I'd be willing to bet, Doug, that you're getting a lot of roadblocks right about here." And he
Mm,
goes, "Yeah, how'd you know that?" I go, "Because it's the filming phase." People don't
mm,
want to be on film. They don't want to video themselves. I go, what would you think if I did a couple sessions in your group teaching about camera confidence and how to
Yes.
create those videos? He's like, sweet, yeah, do that. So I did it, and it was get such a huge response. I ended up becoming a camera confidence coach in his group. Continues to this day. So it's all about forming an experience that gives you something to talk about that's not a transaction, and then goodwill, lots of value without asking for anything back. And then when that relationship hits a certain point, it naturally progresses in how can I help you? And then that's the point where you have to be ready. You have to know what you want. You have to be clear on that. Because if you say, I don't know, let me get back to you, it kind of diminishes the ask. You want to be clear on what you want when that does arrive, but it will arrive. And there's Steve Larson I've worked with now. I've worked with Marley Jacks. I've worked with Ellen Dean. I've worked with, numerous at this point personalities in the space that has gotten me a lot of authority. And I just keep on, you know, um, using my last win, talking about my last win. Hey, I just did this amazing video for Steve Larson, and I'd love to do this for you. I think that I can do it, and da 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 da. But before any of that happens, you dig your well before you're thirsty. You ever heard that term?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I start these relationships first because I genuinely am interested in them. I want to be the friend. I want to be that person that is there to form a genuine relationship. And then later on down the line, if you have an ask to make, it's not a big deal because it's an emotional bank account, right? I'm
Yes.
making deposits. So that way when I do make an ask, it's like, well, yeah, of course. No problem, you know?
Exactly.
And it's
So
so
how someone, if someone just get started in the journey of this online world, maybe
Mhm.
they started with OFA or someone in the online space with affiliate marketing. So how they can build their influence with a video? Let's suppose we are talking about video
Mhm.
here. So how they can start it there? And because most of the times they get fear of facing camera, being on camera. So
I got some good news with that. And the good news is the things that we're afraid of when it comes to being on camera, they just don't happen. It just doesn't happen. What are the things we're afraid of? We're afraid of judgment. We're afraid of not being, we're being less than, not enough. I'm too fat. I'm too skinny. I'm too this. I'm too that. I'm not enough this. I'm not enough that. I'll do this when I hit 50K a month. I'll do it when this happens, that happens. We're putting all these things in between us and our success. And what I'm here to encourage you to do is to clear the table. Just clear it all out of the
mm,
way because none of it matters. Let's go over a couple things. So, judgment, right? We're afraid that people are going to judge us and that we're not, that we're imposters, right?
what they think about us, what they mostly think about us.
Yeah, yeah. The
Uh,
thing is people want you to win. Overwhelmingly, people want you to win. It's built into us. We are
mhm,
genuinely good people. The outliers are the rarity. You hear about trolls and things like that online. The beautiful thing is, if I haven't run into one yet, but if you ever, and that's been a while, if you run into a troll, block them. And
mm,
then they're gone. Poof, vanish. It's not a big
mm,
deal. But I just haven't seen it. I just haven't seen it. When you get to a certain level, you get big enough, you get the trolls. That's when you get their attention, is when you're big enough. The Marleys, the Stevens, the Russells, they got haters out there because they have more than they can have in their eyes. But for our level, you're not going to run into those people. People want to see you succeed. That's it.
mhm.
And remember that. And it's easy to lose sight of that when you get into this space, because there's so much status and comparison, right? So it's
Yep.
like, oh, when I get to Steve's level, I'm going to make so much content. It's like, no, but what you don't understand is that you'll never get to Steve's level if you don't make content.
Exactly. That was the reverse engineering part. Yeah.
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 And so when you, another thing is, if we base when we're going to show up for our audience based upon a status milestone, like I'm not going to do that until I hit 20K a month, 50K a month, whatever it is, you're separating yourself from the very people that need you.
Yes,
So
exactly.
let's say you tomorrow start consistently making 50K a month, and your audience are people that want to make 10K a month. You're separating yourself from them.
Exactly.
So what I recommend is that you let them join you on your journey. Document the
Mm,
journey, because then
document.
it's not you on a mountain shouting down at them, listen, the view's great up here, get up here, and you don't show them. Now that's just mean. Because you didn't tell them, you didn't help them at all. You just said, get up here already. But if you're letting them join you on your journey, you take them by the hand and you say, let's do this together. And that's
Yes.
huge difference. Huge difference. That's how Doug Boughton made his entire business.
Our community is completely like based upon relationship with the students and taking all the people along with the journey. That
You
is,
only have
yeah.
to be one step ahead of where they
Yep.
are to be valuable. One step.
Exactly. Yep.
That's it. And even if you're not one step, even if you're on the same side as them, you're on the same step as them, you can
Hmm.
still be a facilitator to get to the next step. And that's valuable.
Exactly.
That's valuable. You're
Exactly.
gathering people that are going to help you to get to the next step together. That puts you at the forefront of that as the host, the the person that puts it all together, and that has
Mm.
value. Look what RJ's been able to do. He interviews all these names in the space, and then he wrote a book. The guy
Book.
wrote
Yeah.
a book, and the book's fantastic. And it's based on his interviews, the best
Many,
interviews that he had.
many people don't even think about writing a book, and he has done it.
He's done it, and he's killing it. I'm so proud of that guy, man. RJ, you're killing it. But think about it. Did RJ wait until he was an expert?
No,
Did
never.
RJ wait until he was making 50K a month, even
No,
10K a
never.
month to start showing up for his audience? No.
Yeah.
He just did it. He dug his well before he was thirsty.
Mm.
And it works. It works every single time, period. Some of the other fears that we have is that, our families will judge us, whatever it may be. You can separate audiences. In Facebook, you can separate, this is personal family. And when I post, I want it to go to everybody else. You can
Mm.
separate that out. It's not difficult. It's a simple YouTube search. You can find it to where you don't have to worry about that ever again. The people you don't
Mm.
want to see it won't ever see it
Exactly.
until you get to a point. Because I know this, we all have a point where we're like, now I want everyone to know
We want to
killing
know.
it, because I'm killing it. But before that, you don't want that. Your family loves you.
Mm.
So they're probably going to say, hey, that crazy business thing, maybe you should cut that out and like get back to a job, man. Like, it's been a while, and that kind of stuff. And that can bring you down. I get that. So if you need to
Mm.
keep it separated until you feel more comfortable about it, do it. But it's not difficult, and it's definitely not an excuse. Um,
Mm.
as far as showing up and being comfortable on camera, let's get into that a little bit. So one of the things I like to do is, who is the last person you helped in a very deep and meaningful way? Get their picture, cut it out, print it and cut it out, tape it behind your camera. So now you're
Uh,
not talking one to many, you're talking to that person,
one.
one. And you need to
Mm,
focus on helping them every way you can. It's about them. And so because you're helping them, you're making it personal, you emoting, showing emotion towards that because that's someone that you genuinely helped. That
mhm.
content's going to be that much more valuable for everybody else. And it's going to make you
Yeah,
more comfortable because now it's not one to thousands or hundreds or tens or whatever it is. It's one to one, which is where most of us can shine, right?
exactly. When we like in the mode of serving people, definitely that actually create a difference in our. Another thing is like how like they wanted to show up every single day. Like how they get the content ideas, or sometimes they don't get the idea how to create a content, video content. Let's suppose. So, what is your take on it? Like how you do it? If
How
you
do I
were to
choose
come to
what to create?
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Problems, pain.
Exactly.
So what I like to do is I like to personally go to YouTube. I go to Facebook groups like
Mhm.
ClickFunnels. Give me an
Mhm.
example. Give me a topic that someone might be coaching on or teaching on.
Affiliate marketing, or
Boom.
maybe.
Okay, perfect. So I go into ClickFunnels and ClickFunnels Avengers. First stop,
Mhm.
I do a filter search for any mention of affiliate marketing. And I just
Mhm.
scroll through all the filtered results. What are people asking? What are people talking about? What annoys them? Um, and what are their pains? What are they sitting in right now? Where are they right now? Um, and no, sorry, quick message. So, what are their pains that they're dealing with? So, I write down all those pains, every single one. I create an Excel sheet or a Word doc, it doesn't matter. And I write down every single one of those pains. Then I go to YouTube and I look up videos based around how to start affiliate marketing, how to become profitable with affiliate marketing, how to make your first dollar affiliate marketing. And then I go to the comments. And in the comments is where you find out how successful that was or wasn't. And you have people say, "Oh my God, thank you so much. This was amazing. I made my first dollar using this method." Okay, great. Now, if it's overwhelmingly positive, I write down the name of the video and I write down some notes on the video because those notes could each become their own piece of content as well.
Yes.
So now we're getting a list going, big list. And so now if people really hated a YouTube video, that's gold, absolute gold. So now you see like, oh my God, this doesn't make any sense. It wasn't clear. It wasn't that. No one makes money using this. I didn't like your personality, how you approach this. You're very abrasive or something like that. Like anything they say is gold because that's the pains. I write them all down. And so just doing this for like 2, 3 hours can give you a year's worth of content. And so each video just speaks to your audience's pain.
Yeah,
So, an
that's the best
example,
strategy.
give me an
Yeah.
example of a pain in affiliate marketing.
Not getting traffic, or maybe not
Traffic.
getting the sales. Yeah.
What was the last one?
Traffic. Sales. First,
Sales.
let's talk
Not
about
getting
the traffic.
traffic or sales. Let's go with traffic. So,
Traffic.
let's say people are like, I don't want to start a YouTube video. It takes too long to get going, to get steam. And
Yes, yes.
so you come along and you say, let's say your solution is TikTok for affiliate marketers. So you
Mhm.
do a video on why YouTube is in the past and TikTok's the future of affiliate marketing. That's a piece of content.
Mhm.
So it's based on a pain. They didn't want to use YouTube because it takes too long. That was the argument. Okay, I'm going to give them something that's super fast. Instagram Reels, TikTok, or
Yes.
just short form video in general. And then
Yeah,
that's going to be your title, is posing against that and talking about your thing.
exactly.
So pain. That's where your content can come from, is from pain. Because
That's
that's what's
that's
going to get
right.
their most attention. You take that pain away, you solve that pain for them, and they're going to want to know more about you.
Yeah, like even when I also do go live and I just talk a generic topic, I hardly get engagement. But the moment I talk about the pain, problem, what they are struggling with, that's how like I go, so wow, that's like boom, get lots of people talking. Okay, really you solved some problem. That's like problem solving content is really helps a lot to get attention and connecting with the right audience.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So let's see, what else we want to talk about? Conversion, right? So content that converts really comes down to ask. Just ask. So we have a hard time with giving value, and then transitioning to asking for something, right? We have difficulty with that. So actually, you know what? I'm going to say that for a minute. I want to return back to camera confidence. So, what is stopping us from hitting the record button, the live button? So, we talked about those fears and things like that. Did you know that you can just go live to yourself and no one will ever see it? I highly recommend doing that, going live only to yourself. If you're scared of it and you think it's a big problem that for you that you can't go live to yourself. No one will ever see it but you. And now, when you get your confidence up, I recommend you post those lives after the fact.
Mhm.
Or you get your buddy right here, you know, take a video of yourself, practice every single day, make a video trying to teach someone something. You don't have to post it, not until you're ready. But when you are ready, push yourself to share it with a loved one or someone you trust, and ask them their opinion. Hey, what do you think of this? Do you feel like it's getting the point across? And there's a really good format to follow for those videos that makes it a little easier. This is something I learned from Marley Jacks. And I think she learned it from Russell or somebody like that. But there's a format to follow for your videos that takes the pressure off. Okay. So it's uh, intro hook. Then you go, I'm sorry, go hook, pattern, interrupt. Then you go to preview of what you're going to talk about. Then the intro, which builds your authority. So it's a little video that you play. And then you talk about three topics, only three. And in between each one of those three topics, you give an engagement break. So, what do I mean by that? So, if I'm talking about traffic for affiliate marketers, and my first thing I'm talking about is making your first TikTok video. At the end of that, I go, hey, have you started using TikTok or Reels? What kind of content do you enjoy to watch? Because that's the kind of content that you should be making for your audience. Please let me know in the comments if you guys are going to start making some TikToks. That's an engagement break. And what that
Engagement,
does is
right?
it helps to inset that information in their minds, because you're giving them a breathing, like a moment to absorb. And when people engage, it reaffirms information in their minds. So, three
Mhm.
topics with each one having an engagement break. And at the end, you tell them what you told them. So you tell them, today we learned about the three things that you can do. Da, 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 da. And then you just write off of that. If you love this content and you want to know more about how you can set up an affiliate marketing business in the next 30 days that's going to absolutely support you and your family for the rest of your life, click the link below. I've created this awesome lead magnet that is going to get you started on your journey to six figures to freedom, or whatever it may be. Or it
Mhm.
could be as simple as, if you love this content, join my group where every week we talk about affiliate secrets that the big guys use that nobody's talking about. So you just talk about, like, this is what we covered today. If you love this, if you like this kind of content, we've got even more at this other thing. And that's it. And you should always make a CTA, a call to action, at the end of each video. Even if it's just, hey, if you don't follow me on Instagram, that's where I talk about all my behind the scenes stuff of me building my business. Go follow me there. So that's a small ask. Then the bigger ask is, join my group, check out my lead magnet, because they're going to have to give name, email, phone number for that. But it should always be some sort of CTA. And that way they're used to it too. Because if you're someone that just gives value, they just see you as the value person. This is where I go to get free stuff. And they leave.
Yeah.
But if you start from square one with a call to action at the end, it's just normal.
Like Gary Vee also say like jab 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 right hook, like send the value.
Yeah.
Ask.
Yeah, absolutely. But on those
Can be.
jabs, you're still making an ask.
Okay.
And your ask can be as simple as, follow me on Instagram. That's an easy ask.
Easy ask. Yeah, that is also can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or love this content. Like when you're first starting out and you don't know what to talk about quite yet, you're still working on pain points and stuff. Love this content. Let me know what you'd like to learn about in regards to affiliate marketing. I'd love to cover it for you. We're going to bring on some experts maybe. Do you want to see that? But let me know in the comments so I can make this the absolute best content I can. That's still a
Yeah.
call to action. You're asking them to do something.
So that's why basically those leads get convert uh, through our content. Basically, if they like in the big ask, let's say they are putting email address. That's where actually they are converting from
Yeah.
just to viewership to your lead.
Yeah. If
Uh,
they do the thing you asked them to do, that's a conversion.
conversion. Yeah.
Yeah, even if it's as simple as comment below, that's a conversion. Now, did it mean dollar in your pocket? No. But you're getting them ready for when you do ask. And I would recommend you do not sell directly from your content. Don't do that
Mm.
unless you're extremely low ticket. And the reason
Okay.
for that is it just doesn't convert well. And it leaves a bad taste in people's mouths because then it feels like, oh, well, he only did that because he wanted my money. No, I'm
Mm.
putting out value and I ask you to do something at the end, like give you, to join, put in your info for a lead magnet for free. And then we get your name and email, phone number, and then they start on an email sequence, which will nurture them until you make an ask.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't recommend 90% of the time to sell directly from your content unless it's very, very low ticket.
And for to sell directly, that should have a high level of authority. Then only they can sell. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, like
So,
people like Marley, she can sell direct from her content to
yeah.
something that's like probably like 200 and under. She could do no
Yeah.
problem from her content, but she's gained
She
that
does like
authority to where people
she,
trust her.
she also does 21 day video challenge something.
Hmm.
She does from YouTube channel itself. Like
Yeah,
that is she does, yeah.
it's her VIP, which I'm in that group as well.
Mm.
It's a recurring monthly payment, but yeah, it's in the same way that we want to earn the right to speak to people for longer in our videos. Because like for YouTube, your recommended video time is 8 to 10 minutes. And then on Facebook, it's the sweet spot's probably around 5 to 10 minutes. And then it goes to like 20 to 30 minutes. If you're going to
Mm.
stay on longer, stay on longer. And then Instagram is very short content. TikTok, obviously, very, very short. Um, but we have to earn the right to take up more of our audience's time. So we want to get straight to the point, get to those great stories, use stories as much as you can. That's another really great tactic you can use is to use stories. Um, and a really easy format that a good colleague of mine, Cool McCool Gupta,
Cool,
talked.
Cool Gupta. Yeah.
I love Cool McCool. He talked about just the other day. So shout out to you, Cool and Cool. But he said that you want to do the hero's journey. So you go from zero to hero if you're going to tell a story.
Mm,
Because some people have trouble telling stories that are engaging. But you start with
mm,
zero when you were at your worst, and then
mm,
you work up to hero. And in between, it goes inspire, give value, and then you arrive at your destination. So the in between is you making it personal, giving as much detail as possible, making them feel it. An
mm,
example would be my X's and O's story. I went from zero, being depressed, to then I told you what it felt like when I was done. I get like the sweaty pits. I was nervous. I just sat in my chair and I was like, what have I done? And talking about what that experience felt like, and then the elation when I had people that actually cared. And then it ended with, obviously now I'm working with all these wonderful people, and I'm very close knit into this community now. That's essentially a story framework that you can use. So
mm.
zero, and in the middle you give detail to really paint the picture, and then arrive at your destination.
Yeah.
So shout out to Cool and Cool.
Some.
Yeah,
So
and then as
I think
far as the conversions go, I think that we put too much thought into it. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that we really just let ourselves get into our own head too much.
that's
And
awesome.
if we try and view it more like we're having a conversation with someone that we care about, it
Mm,
makes it a lot easier. A lot easier. Because if you come to the end of a story that you're telling your friend, and then you're like, hey, you want to go out to eat? You want to go see a movie? You want to go do this? You want to go do that? That's a CTA. It's a call to
mm,
action. We have no problem doing that.
yeah.
So I think the more personal we make it, the better. And
So
don't be concerned about where you are in your journey, because no matter where you are, you can give value.
that's super awesome. So I just wanted to ask how someone can actually scale their business with video marketing. How
How to scale with video marketing? A scale
can it,
as in what? What is the
is it
tangible scaling for what you're
let's
saying?
suppose every time I have to create a video, right?
Mhm.
Every time I have to I have to be present. It's like active state, right? I want to do it in the more scalable method. What the next step? If somebody now I'm okay, I can do it. I'm just starting out. I can do it. Okay, every single day I'm going live or making 2 or 3 videos per week. But how to I can scale this business in the next level? If I want to take to what the next step of the video marketing by just doing myself, or should I put some team, or how I can do it in a more scalable way?
Honestly, what you're doing right now is the fastest way to scale, is interviewing others with audiences.
Exactly. Okay.
This, what you're doing
Mm.
right now, is the fastest way to scale, in my eyes.
Awesome.
The next thing beyond that would be to make a show, entertain people while you educate, and
But
still,
the
bring
but
on
the for
people that you
new
respect.
people, new people, they find the difficulties of getting connected with this, getting people in the show. What is your one piece of advice? How can they can start their show? They can invite the people to their show. Just one
Oh, how
piece
to
of
get
advice.
names on your show?
Yes, yes.
Um, Add value, really, is what it comes down to. So,
You also spoke about the relationship, how you build the relationship with them, and you invited them to your
yeah,
show.
yeah. So, I mean, I reach out and I give value.
Mm,
So once you get going and you got your show moving, then it's like, oh, they have an audience of people that love them, and I'm going to get in front of that audience. That's valuable. But
value.
before that, when you're just starting out, you got to have something to give first, and you got to give
Mm,
without the expectation of getting something back.
mm,
That's crucial. So what do you do well? If you do video like me, well, send them a video. Make them a video and just say, "Listen, I'm a fan. I love what you're doing. I love this specific thing that you did the other day on your piece of content, and I just want to let you know you've been a great influence on me, and I made this thing for you, or I can help you with this, or whatever it
Awesome.
may be. Add value, or I can train
Mm.
your group on this thing with no expectation of backlinks or anything, just pure value training that I want to do for your group." And
Mm.
that's you helping them. You don't want to ever tell them that their thing is not working or it's wrong or it's not doing what it's supposed to. What you want to say is, "I have this thing that can make it even better."
Better. Better.
Because you don't
That
want, because that's mean. If you come at someone and you're
mm.
like, "This sucks, but I can help you," then they're like,
You
"Get
mentioned
out of
all
here."
the things like how you actually added value to like Bingo Mali Jacks, Good Boughton.
Hmm.
I think Steve Larson was there. Steve
Yeah,
Larson.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like that's how to do it. Yeah. That's
That's
awesome.
it.
Super.
Give them genuine help and value.
Mm.
If you see in, like, as an example, Steve Larson's group, which this is not something that's a problem in his group, but as an example, if you noticed in his group that he was having a really hard time um, maintaining engagement after his videos go live, then you could say, "Hey, Steve, I love your videos, man. Like, they're absolutely incredible. The life changing for me. It's made all the difference. Um, I actually am a social media manager, and I noticed that, or I noticed that there's so many people engaging with your videos that it looks like it could be a little difficult to keep up with. I would be honored if you would allow me to help out with that. I actually have a lot of experience doing this from this, and this, and I would love to do that for you. No strings
Mm.
attached, anything like that." And essentially, you'd want him to make you a moderator of his group, which is going to give you,
Mm.
obviously all the things that come with that, right? Exposure,
Mm.
relation to Steve.
Connections.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
Steve actually wants to, talk further with you about your goals
Mm.
and things. But
Mm.
it just starts out with, "Hey, I noticed that this could be made a lot better, this experience, and
Mm.
I'm really good at that. I'd love to help you with it if you're open to it."
That's
That
awesome.
starts a relationship. And you have to
Yep.
expect that most people are going to say no or not respond.
Mm.
And that's okay. That's completely okay. Some people like Akbar. Akbar took 2 months to respond back because he's Akbar Sheik. He's this
Mhm.
massive personality. So he only checks
Multiple.
his messages once every couple months. And I'm sure it takes him a ton of time to get through them all because he's getting buried all the time.
Mm.
So the fact that he even saw it was amazing. But he responded because he was like, "Oh my
Exactly.
gosh, like, this is so cool. You made this for me? I can use this?" I was like, "Yeah, I just
Mm.
wanted to show you a token of appreciation for, what you bring to the world." He's like, "Oh, that's so cool." You wanted to
Mm.
make him feel good. And so
Yeah.
it's also important not to make them wrong, though. You don't say, "Listen, this is not working in your group. I can help you with that." It's like almost insulting. It's
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
"Wait, who are you?" Like, "I'm fine. I was fine
Mm.
before I met you. Like, we're good." But if you say, "I can make this even better," it changes the conversation.
Yeah. That's super cool hack. Yeah, and then like to get it inside their zone. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean,
That's
who doesn't
awesome.
want to show up even better for their audience? Everyone does.
Exactly. Yeah. That's awesome. Super valuable, Jim. And thank you so much, guys. Keep patience till here. And how, just Jim, just tell us like how people can find you. You have anywhere where people can follow you and learn more from you.
Sure, sure. Yeah, we have a group called Visibility Hackers, and that's where
Okay,
we
I'll
talk about, what's that?
mm, I'll drop the comment link in the comment
Oh,
box.
excellent. Yeah. It's called
Yeah,
Visibility Hackers. It's myself, Coach Molly Dorst, and Junaid Ahmed. And we
awesome.
talk about how to go from no one knows you to visible and authority as quickly as possible.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jim. It's been honored to have you in our show, and we'll definitely look for another other expertise that you have. We talked yesterday that you have so much of expertise, but because of the time constraint, we have to keep it short. And still, we are about to 1 hour, but definitely we'll talk about more about relationship and keep building your own show in the future sessions. And thank you so much for coming to our show. And thank you so much, all of you guys, for joining us live today. And yeah, thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you
We'll
so
see you
much,
for the
everybody. I
next
truly
interview.
appreciate it.
Bye bye.
And thank you.